Veteran Standing Committee to order. Might have noticed we have the mics back, so please make sure yours is turned on if you want to make a statement. We will start then with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Lee, can you lead us in that, please?
Sure. Pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, do we have proof of notification? Okay. And I will take a motion to approve our 18-point agenda. Thank you, Cindy. May I have a second? Seconds. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, our previous meeting minutes are in your packet. Does anyone have any comments or changes to those? Yes. Yes. Okay, so then I'll declare those approved with that change to them. Thank you for pointing that out. That takes us to number 6, but actually before that, I just have a quick question. We do have one more meeting, correct, before we change? We're usually the second Thursday. Oh, wait, but election's the second Tuesday. Okay, so even though okay. Didn't remember how that. Okay, so public comment. Is there anyone here from the public that wishes to speak? We did.
Oh, we did.
Oh, did I ask? Yeah, okay.
I heard Dr. Barris.
All right, so any member of the public here or online that wishes to speak? Okay, if not, we'll move on to number 7, our 2023 BSO budget summary. Is this what we have still from 2023, not 2024? I didn't know if we.
That's the 2024 as it stands as of March 1st.
So have you gotten all of your invoices and everything from 2023? Are we now into the 2024?
Yeah, I cleared our budget before the budget year.
Okay,
actually
so we should
began.
probably change that wording. 24. All right, anything to comment on that?
No, it's been a slow start to the year. Next month, we'll have an expense of conference fees in the month of April that won't show up until the month of May. But as of this point in time, no.
Great. We can move into your admin.
It's been not hectic by any means. I would say 3 to 12 people per day into the office, kind of fluctuates. We're still doing our office review, cleaning out files. It's a long, tedious process trying to establish where people, like we have a DD 214 from 1969, but no proof that the person has ever been in the office and maybe didn't, moved out of the county 40 years ago. So tracking down where they live so that we can upload their documents and get rid of our paper copies. So it's slow moving, but we're getting there. It's for a good cause. That's a lot of paperwork that we don't need to have that has their social security numbers on it, that we to kind of eliminate some of the things that are out there on people. So it's tax season. We've been doing a lot of Department of Revenue tax forms, helping the veterans get them ready for their accountants. That's where they ask for the reimbursement for their property taxes back. And insurance, it always seems like this is the time of year where people start thinking about their insurance, their health insurance. And so we've been dealing with a lot of that, a lot of newcomers coming in to just kind of see what they could be eligible for.
Any questions for Ms. Knock? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the consent items, numbers 9 through 11. Did anyone have any questions or comments on those particular items? It looked like on the budget, we're still looking at 2023, correct?
Right, so I just want to point out, so I'm going to say these are officially the final reports for 2023 that I'm going to give you. For the budget, you can see that, our funds were going to end up, with a balance of about, on the positive side of about 349,000, a little over, or almost $350,000. Just to note that, couple of, there's a couple of things that play into that. We had some unanticipated revenue. Winker came in a little higher than we budgeted a little bit. We've usually had some final claiming from the consortium from the previous year that lands in the current year. So there was some unanticipated revenue, and then there are obviously unrealized expenses. So as you can see, most of it was either unfilled positions or eliminated positions and things like that. So that played out to us having a little bit of a surplus this year. So there's that for the budget itself. And then for the final placement report, I did put in this historical, just to kind of look back at the final totals, right? So we came in with total expenses of, what does that say? I can't read that high up, but I have it here. Almost $1.2 million. So it is under the levy amount that was budgeted. So that's good to see that we came in under that. Although I should note that we did have a couple of, we did have one really big, $118,000 back payment from somebody that had been in placement a few years ago. So we won't see that this year, but that helped there. But even with that, we still would have been right on the line. So that's our final number there. So
I did have a question on that. I mean, it's obviously great to see that we're lower than the last 4 years, but do you feel, Tricia, that has anything to do with any changes in practice, or is it just kind of like the normal fluctuation from year to year? Or some of both?
I would like to say part of it's change in practice. We had for the second half of the year, the same crisis worker. For that, it was multiple workers handling the crises. So I think sometimes things may have slipped through the cracks. I'm hoping with one crisis worker. We also have Brandy that's been stable. We're trying to have every other month or every third month placement meetings to talk about who's in placement, where are they at. So we're really involved in the placements. I guess between we're very involved in the placements, and I'm constantly looking at that. So hopefully that has helped with the way things are this past year for the adult placements. With the children's placements, we are over budget there, and we're trying very hard to make some movement on some of those. We did have one very expensive placement age out last year, so we're hoping that that helps even out the budget for this year.
Thank you. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but it's just interesting to look at the
She
trend
probably
and
had
if
notes
there's
ready.
anything that can be repeated. What's that?
she probably had notes ready at the back.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Yes, Dr. Barris?
Yeah, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Jerry, can you turn on your mic? Yeah, we have to get used to it again. Hopefully this is temporary. No promises being made.
Mike on now? That goes back into the general fund then, is that?
That's correct.
Where are we? We've had some problems and assume our budgeting for replacement of the HVAC system in the building. Is there any way to get this targeted towards that?
Right now, the county is doing a facilities needs assessment. And so that's going to be taking a look at our building across the street, this building and the campus, and really looking at what are the good things, the bad things, what needs to be worked on. So I don't think that the county at this point in time would be willing to put that towards the HVAC system until after this assessment is done. And that's supposed to be completed in July. So I'm hopeful that once that assessment's done, the county will then sit down and make determinations on what do we invest in and what do we not.
Just,
Kind of a rough estimate.
I don't know.
I feel like they did look at, but it was bits and pieces, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
wasn't like a full, because we have so many different ones. I think that's part of the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, if I may, I think if just one of the units goes, I want to say it was around 20,000 per unit, and I don't even know how many units we have up there, like 18, or I don't know. We could stand up, but we could count. We could. Count. It was quite a few, so it wasn't gonna be yeah, right. And we
So-
had it on our capital improvement request every
Mhm.
year for like the last 3 years, and it's always just been pushed to the back.
So if I can just add to what Trisha was saying, that is a pretty big project that's happening right now. Like we went through RFPs and then awarded this contract to a firm to do a full, all of our facility needs assessment so that we can have a better idea going forward. Like, do we continue to, what would we, if we continue to like say, stay in that particular building, what are we going to invest in? How are we going to move forward as a county? What are our options as a county? And so I think that's why she's saying we're not making those decisions right now, because in July, hopefully we'll have a better idea of what we might need to do or focus on, and then that will affect the capital improvement plan as well, I'm sure. So, but that was a good question because the risk of that is always out there. Anyone else? Yes. Dr.
Just a
or-
brief comment. I think this report reflects the good leadership that we have. So kudos.
I just wanted to make a couple comments on the contract monitoring report. You'll notice we have a few contracts that are over % utilized. And I just want to explain for some of them, they are our CCS contracts. And so for like, if you look at Arneson Counseling and Red Maple Counseling, those are two fairly new providers to us. I think Arneson started in November, Red Maple was September of last year. And so we really didn't know what the bandwidth was of the clients they were going to take. We have to remember that with CCS, individuals can prove who their providers are. And so we took a look at this when we saw this. Neither of them are going over their service authorized hours. So they're doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. And so these will be contracts that we will have to update as the year goes on when we have a better idea. It's just hard to guess at the beginning of the year how much we're going to be spending with them because we don't know how many consumers are going to be choosing them. The other one is Mo's transitional placement. That one is significantly over. We have a youth there right now, but the plan is to get him placed in the community. We have a tentative date of the end of April. And so we're going to kind of hold off to update that contract. Hopefully we won't have to, but if we do, that's why we were under budgeted there because we wanted to get him closer to home.
Just to mention, that one is on page 4, the one she was speaking about mode. Yeah, it's an oversight. Okay. Thank you for the explanation. So that actually moves us to where's my agenda, the contracts, agreements, and amendments. 12 in your packet. My mic. All right, you might.
Okay. The first one we are looking at is for Jefferson County Human Services Department for $9,500 to provide crisis stabilization for clients being served by the Richland County Health and Human Services. The next one is Midwest Monitoring and Surveillance. We are looking for $10,000 to provide transdermal alcohol monitoring for clients enrolled in treatment court in the Behavioral Health Services Unit. And the last one is for Baraboo River Equine Assisted Therapies for $10,000 to provide counseling and therapeutic services for clients enrolled in our CLTS program in our Behavioral Services Unit.
Quick question. The alcohol monitoring one, is that the same one that we've been using for treatment court, or is it a new? Just curious.
Yes, same
It's the
one.
same. Okay. Okay. Any questions from anyone? If not, we will need to make a motion to approve these if the joint, or includes all of them. Thank you. Do I have a second? Ms. Chicker? All right, any further discussion? Yeah.
So we have a few, I don't know exactly on this one, but with our CCS program, they do horse therapy. So they take the individual to go and to the stables, and they teach and learn different skills utilizing horses.
No more questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Number 13, approve new commission on aging and disability board members. And I didn't think I saw anything in our packet. Unless it just didn't upload for me.
Okay, so we actually have 4 individuals that we want to approve that did go through our Commission on Aging and Disability. So we have 3 that reached the end of their term limits in April. So the first one that did not, it's not a term limit, it's actually replacing Jody Hines from Schmidt Woodland Hills. It's Ellen Elvin. She's an employee at Schmidt. We always try to keep one person from Schmidt Woodland Hills on our committee. The second person is to appoint Terry Berg, replacing Virginia Wiedenfeld, who has met her term limit. And then we have Leanne Borkowski to replace Sandra Kramer, who's also reached her term limit. And then Kevin Keister to replace Carolyn Denman, who's also reached her term limit. So these all went through our Commission on Aging and Disability last month and were approved.
Would anyone like to see that list? Oh, we don't have it in our packet. Do you want her to pass that around? Okay, great. I do not, but I trust you.
Really great response this time. This is unusual that we get such a great response for commission members. So I was super excited to read all of their letters of interest. So it was really great this time. We just got really outstanding individuals that were interested. So, yeah.
From those of you online, do you have any questions or do you need to see anything in order to vote on this? Be Tim and Sherry.
No
No,
questions.
I would. Ingrid, this is Tim. I would move for approval.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Tim. Great, Cindy. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay. Number 14, our director reports.
So you saw in the packet that I gave a handout of all the different units. Just want to highlight a few things. In May, on May 23rd, our ADRC is having a wellness stride. They are doing this partnering with Simons. If you are interested in signing up for this, you can do that through Simons Recreation. They're also having a volunteer appreciation luncheon on April 11th. Our volunteers do a lot for that program, and so it's really important that we honor them, and really want to notice at this meeting too all that they bring to members of the community. In our child and youth services, one pretty exciting thing is we've had 2 people reach out who are interested in being foster parents. So that's really exciting. Shelby Miller is taking on the role of our foster care coordinator. So she has reached back out to both of them. One family has responded back and they're in the process of getting things rolling. So we're very excited about that. a note that I don't have in here that I forgot to add, and I apologize. We did receive a letter from the state commending us on our documentation of casework contacts with children who are in out-of-home care. We were timely in 99.12% of the cases, so that's very good. With our economic support unit, I just wanted to point out that the goal for our consortium is to take 8.9% of the calls. And in the month of February in 2024, we took 13.3% of the calls. So that's very good.
Okay, that was gonna be my question. Like, is this a good thing or do we want to be going that high?
We're
the mark?
overachievers. In public health, last week we had our 140 review with the state. I want to thank Fred and Cindy for coming to that meeting, and your engagement and comments and everything you contributed was really wonderful. Once we get the results back from the state, we'll give you guys that report so you have that. And then as a department, we're going to be starting our leadership training next week. So we're all very excited. We've had a couple of homework assignments that we've had to do prior. And so that's generated some discussion amongst the leadership team. And then I am working on setting up an all-agency training for later this year. We did do this last year where we closed the building for a little over half a day and went to the Phoenix Center and had a speaker and had a lunch. And it was very, very good for the employees. And that is something that they have said they felt was beneficial and are hopeful we do again. Any questions on any?
Have an opportunity to do that. For instance, to go to the Phoenix Center for a presentation like that.
My goal is to do that once a year. We do once a month all agency meetings that are about an hour and a half in length, but not everyone gets to go because somebody still has to cover the front desk and the phone calls. But our hope is once a year to have an all agency where we can just leave the building and go and have time to really get to know each other. My goal this year for presenters is to have somebody to come and talk about self-care.
Is this, I missed the first part. Is this the first time it's been done?
We did one last year.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think that's a good thing to continue.
And Ingrid,
It's good for morale.
yes. And Ingrid came last year. Tom Thibodeau was our speaker. He is a professor at Viterbo, and he was very good.
It was a really good program. I also just want to say a couple of things. So first, I did not mean that as a slight against economic support. I was just concerned we were getting too much filtered towards us, putting too much on them. So I think that's excellent. Secondly, on the public health review that we had, I just want to say it was, for me, it was mainly just a learning experience. I was not, the staff were the ones that did an immense amount of work to prepare for that. And I was so impressed by that, particularly because, as you guys know, Brandy is new to the position. She just recently had 2 staff members start in, I think, October. So they're all very new, and that is a very daunting thing to go through, and they did an excellent job. I'm very proud of them, and I'm looking forward to hearing what comes of that in the report. Great, thank you, Tricia. So we are at 15, review staff survey results. When was the staff survey done, just to remind you?
So we sent them out, I believe, at the end of December and took them until middle of January. And then it just took me some time to go through them and gather information and really put everything together for you guys.
Thank you for doing that work.
Yes.
It's very easy to.
Yeah, Jamie helped with the graphs. That's not my strength at all. Overall, I think things are going well. I think overall staff seem to be happy with the way things are going. One of the big points that we're going to have to work on more for this year is on the back page on the right-hand side. There's a strong feeling of teamwork and cooperation throughout HHS. We didn't do so great on that one. And so I'm really hoping with the leadership training, we will get ideas, we'll be able to make improvements across the different units. And so that is something that I thought I would see. And this really just kind of confirmed what my guess was there. Things that I really want to highlight, though, is with the doing my job well gives me a sense of personal satisfaction, and the mission of HHS makes me feel that my job is important. Those were very strong that they agree with that. I think that really shows that we have some great dedicated staff, that it really is about the work that we do, and that brings them satisfaction. Not that the other benefits aren't helpful and wonderful, but it really is about serving the people in the community. I think there's also great responses in regards to their managers having the ability to learn and grow, feeling like they're being treated with respect by their managers. So those were also very good things. When you look at the top two factors for your overall happiness, the top one was coworkers, and the survey results also showed that with others at work care about me as a person, 86% agreed or strongly agreed. Same with my coworkers are committed to doing quality work. That's 86% also. And I think those are two very good things and really shows that we have great staff. They come to work, they do their job, but they also are about supporting and helping each other and really doing everything they can for the community. I think other things that we need to work on is just consistency across units. And that is something that, when we look at share any suggestions for improvements, there's clearly defined expectations as a request. Management needs to be under the same expectations as staff, and consistency across units holding staff accountable. So that is something too that I'll be working on.
Did you have fairly good participation by staff?
Yes. I think we had 37 people turn in their surveys.
Out of
63. Yeah, I was happy.
May I ask, how did this survey come about? Who constructed the survey?
You and I did. Yes, which was very helpful. Tracy would do this survey previously, and so we went and looked at that and tweaked it and made some changes and really tried to come up with what is it that we're really looking for.
Wonderful. I like the way this is shown because it gives you a good visual picture as to where things lie. So thank you.
Thank you.
Your comments, anything from those online? Thank you, Tricia, and all of those who helped you put this together. Really appreciate that. I think it was a good picture overall, and I'm happy to see where we're going. Okay, number 16, recognition of committee members. So I'm going to take that one. I just want to recognize, and I realize that this is not our last meeting, because we just mentioned that before we go through the change in the election and where everybody's placed on the boards. And I don't know if you all are aware, but we just had a special board meeting this last week where the county board as a whole approved a new restructuring of the committees. So once that takes effect, which will be after the 16th, I believe, that means that the way our committee structure looks will change a bit. And for this committee, that will change this a bit as well. And we can talk a little bit more about that at the next meeting, perhaps put it as an agenda item so I can put up the document that shows exactly what it's going to look like. So just wanted to throw that out there. There are some changes coming. I don't think that that's going to change significantly how this particular committee operates, but you might see different faces. And anyways, I just wanted to recognize Don is not here today. Hopefully he can come to the next meeting. Tim is here. I wanted to recognize and thank both of them for their service on this committee. We have, and I have very much valued and appreciated their wisdom and their insight into things based on their differing backgrounds and their interactions here with HHS. Tim has decided not to run for re-election, so we won't be seeing him after the next meeting, and as well as Don. And so we're going to miss them, and we just want to say thank you and best of luck in your next endeavors.
Madam Chair, thank you. Appreciate all the work that we've been able to do over the last few years, and we're in really good shape here. It's been a lot of fun.
I agree. Thank you, Tim. Alrighty, that will take us to number 17, future agenda items. So as I mentioned, if you don't mind including an agenda item that we can kind of go over what the committee structure will look like. Anyone else have thoughts or anything that you would like put on the next agenda? No. Trisha, do you know of anything significant that will be? No? Okay, so that will probably be our only unusual item. All right, and then yeah,
Before we move forward,
yeah, of course.
with the restructuring, will you again be the chairperson of this committee? Do you know?
That is all up in the air. So that the way the restructuring process is going to work is, first of all, I would have to be elected to my current position as District 10.
Okay.
So if that, and then after that, we're going to go through a process where board members will fill out interest and ask for the various committees that they want to be a part of. And then that will be assigned by a committee on committees. And then after that, those committees will then elect a chair and vice chair of each committee. So there's a lot of factors in play. I very well may not be the next chair, and that's totally fine. As Tim said, you guys are in great hands here with Trisha and everyone else that works at HHS. I have full confidence things are excellent, and I've really enjoyed my time here.
Do they know yet whether they're going to do that big public meeting to elect the chair and vice chair of the different committees like they did?
It's changing a bit. So, and we can talk a little bit more about this at the next meeting, but at the organizational meeting, which is the county board meeting after the election, at that point, the only thing that's going to be elected will be the chair and vice chair of the county board, and then the committee on committee members. Then they will meet and go over like, where does everybody want to be? Who gets assigned to what? And then I think at the next meeting after that, there'll be a special meeting after that where those results will be, and the board will have to vote on that. So the committee on committees would, I'm sorry, I'm not stating this very clearly. They would come up with their list of recommendations of who should go on what committee. The board as a whole has to approve those. And then at that meeting, I believe those committees would then individually nominate and vote for their chairs and vice chairs. And that would be a special board meeting that would take place between the April board meeting and then hopefully the beginning of May, so that we can get those committees up and running before the May board meeting. That makes sense at all? And I hope I'm not misstating it, but that was my understanding. So and like I said, I'll have those documents for us at the next meeting so that we can look over.
To continue, Trisha, her staff have done a beautiful job,
Yes, they have.
but I want to compliment you also. You've been a good leader. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Alrighty, that takes us then to adjournment. We mentioned this meeting would be on April, did you say 11th? Okay, so April 11th will be our next board meeting. And I have a motion to adjourn till that time. Thank you, and a second with Francis. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you all. See you next time.